Hello everyone, it's Elliot here. I hope you're doing very well today. In this video, I want to talk about some of the films that are in my collection that I think are hugely underrated. Now, I use the word underrated, which some people don't exactly like because I agree, it's not a word that really describes a particular measurable thing. Underrated could be replaced by undervalued, underseen, underappreciated. Basically, what I'm trying to get across with this stack of films that I'm about to show you is that they deserve more love, more attention, and perhaps another chance if you didn't like these films in the first place. Of course, this is my opinion, but please, if you disagree with me, drop a comment down below and we can get a discussion going, because I'm sure some of these are controversial for you guys out there. If you can find a new film that you love from this list, then my job here is done. Kicking off this list, I have Godzilla. This is the 2014 film, the big blockbuster film that everyone thought was going to be amazing. And then it dropped, and some people really did not like it. One of the main criticisms of this film was that Godzilla doesn't appear in the first half of the film, basically. It's only in the second half that we get some Godzilla action. Pair this with the fact that one of the characters that is focused on, played by Bryan Cranston, people say wasn't given enough screen time. And this was when he was becoming big off the back of Breaking Bad. So people wanted this to be his film, giving a great performance. But that doesn't happen for spoilery reasons. So that left a lot of people dissatisfied. The reason I love this film and think it is underrated is that those action sequences are superb. And the fact that it doesn't necessarily focus on Godzilla in the first half and then doesn't focus on the human characters in the second half, I think gives this a really unique perspective. Oh, and I think it looks excellent on this 4K Blu-ray, so do pick it up if you want to give it a chance. Next up is the film Spring Breakers. This is one of those films that I think was horribly mismarketed. Even the front cover of this Blu-ray really does not sell what this film is or what it's about. It is not just a film about partying or girls in bikinis or actual spring break. What it is about is deeply troubled characters going through some really strange phases in their lives. All of this being shot beautifully, very cinematic, and there are moments of what I would call pure cinema, which is where it's just the visuals, the music, all set to the track of Britney Spears, by the way. That one particular sequence, and if you've seen it, you know the one I'm talking about, is something that I come back to again and again, even when I don't watch the film in its entirety. So yeah, I think this one is underrated for the fact that people went in with certain expectations that weren't met due to the bad marketing. Next, I want to talk about Widows. This is the film from director Steve McQueen, who made 12 Years a Slave, an incredible filmmaker. And here he was making something a bit different. This is a crime film, a heist film, but that is just what it is at the surface level. Again, this is one of those that I think is just mismarketed and people think it is something that it is not. It is not just a run-of-the-mill, straight-to-TV thriller film. It has so much more going on under the surface, looking at issues of politics, race, marital issues, and just having an overall great social commentary. If you can catch this film, yes, it is a great crime thriller, but it is so much more than that. So please give it a shot if you haven't already. This next one I can already tell is going to prove very divisive down in the comments. It's Speed Racer from the Wachowskis. Speed Racer gets a bad rap for a whole host of reasons. I think people compare this to the source material, the original cartoon, and they think that this is not what a film of the cartoon should be. I think a lot of people don't like the visuals of this film because, it is a visual assault. There is so much going on. You are bombarded with images, sounds, all sorts of stuff. And I can see how that would be overbearing at times, but I think that is the point of what Speed Racer is. I think this is perhaps the only film that truly gets into the mind of a child and how a child sees the world in such a playful, colourful manner. And it's such a unique experience. I've never seen any film like Speed Racer before. So if you want something that is truly a visual experience, check this one out. My next underrated film is Under the Skin, starring Scarlett Johansson. This one is very underrated, again, because I think people got the wrong idea about what the film would be before they actually watched it. It is a very weird film, and it goes at its own pace, which some people say is just way too slow. It doesn't get to the point at all. I think a lot of people watching this went, huh? I thought this was about aliens, because it's kind of advertised as that the book that it's based on is very much about aliens. And people wanted a certain science fiction film going into this, which they didn't get. What they did get is a slow burn, Stanley Kubrick style look at how alienating being a human being can actually be. And that is why I think it's such a great film. Sometimes I like to think outside of the box. So here is The Box. I'm sorry, that's terrible. Anyway, this is an underrated film from filmmaker Richard Kelly, who made Donnie Darko and another horribly underrated film, Southland Tales. The setup of this film is that Cameron Diaz gets delivered this box. It's a mystery to her, but inside is a button. If she presses the button, she will get $1 million, but someone that she does not know will die. And that is the moral dilemma of the film. But the film then goes much further than that. It goes into some very strange places. Very much, it reminded me a lot of Lost, the TV series, in kind of where it goes. And I think a lot of people criticize this for not knowing where it was going, basically. And in the end, people say it's just a load of nonsense. I just think it's a truly great film with a lot of great ideas and some really terrific scares, which makes this a great horror film. So if you like your scary movies, definitely give The Box a shot. This next film is one of my personal favourites from the last decade. It is truly underrated, and I don't even actually think that many people know this film exists. So hopefully I can get some more eyeballs on it. The film is The Lost City of Zed. And yes, it is Z, not Z, because this film is about English people, and that's just how we say it here. The film stars all of those actors that some people just love to hate. Charlie Hunnam, Robert Pattinson, Sienna Miller, and Tom Holland. I guess people love Tom Holland from Spider-Man. But I think all of those actors give such great performances in this film. And that is without talking about the wonderful direction from James Gray, who I genuinely believe is one of the best working directors today. What he does here is on the level of David Lean and certain other epic filmmakers. It's a story about a man who goes into the jungle and he spends his whole life trying to find this lost city. If you like films such as Apocalypse Now, with that Heart of Darkness kind of story, then this is a film that you might actually love. Not enough people talk about Rachel Getting Married. This is the film from Jonathan Demme, who directed Silence of the Lambs, and this film is nothing like Silence of the Lambs, except for the fact that it is great at creating characters and placing them in very real environments and just making the whole thing so believable. The film is about this young girl played by Anne Hathaway. She is an addict and does not have a good relationship with her family, but she is coming home because her sister is about to get married. So you can imagine a lot of family drama is about to ensue. I honestly don't know why this film isn't talked about as one of the greatest films of the last 20 years. I think some people saw it as perhaps a bit Oscar baity. I think some people just really do not like Anne Hathaway. And I think on top of that, perhaps the subject matter just looks a bit too depressing or too real for a lot of people to actually want to see. It's just a film that I love. It's very life affirming, and I just wish more people could see this so I could talk to them about it. So yeah, please see this. This next one, oh my God, is so underrated. It's Find Me Guilty, starring Vin Diesel in the absolute best Vin Diesel performance ever. Like, this is a truly amazing performance from an actor that some people say can only do a certain type of thing, and he's doing something completely different here. Not only that, but it's directed by Sidney Lumet, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. This was in his, I think, 6th decade of making films, so I think this was his maybe second to last film that he ever made. And it's so good. The story is about this mobster who is on trial, and he's given the chance to go free if he just rats out everyone who he was working with. He declines that offer, and he decides to actually defend himself as his own lawyer, which is just totally unprecedented. And it just makes for such an entertaining courtroom drama, but also just a great look at this interesting character. If we're talking about badly marketed films, I mean, look at this cover. This does not sell this film. First of all, it's not a prison drama, so I don't know why there's this big prison on here. Most of the film is set in a courtroom, not in a jail cell. So this just makes it look very drab and boring. It is such a good film. If you like Sidney Lumet, and if you want to see a great Vin Diesel performance, check out this film. This last one is an underrated film from a filmmaker who is definitely not underrated. Many people say this is one of the best working film directors today. The film is Inherent Vice from Paul Thomas Anderson. So, this film, many people say, is Paul Thomas Anderson's worst film. And I strongly disagree with that. I actually personally love this film, and it is one of my favourites by PTA. Again, like many films on this underrated list, it was mismarketed. If you go and watch some of the original trailers, it makes it look like this film is just a laugh out loud comedy, non-stop laughs, which it can actually be if you get into the groove of the film and the absurdity of it. But it is not, jokes every minute. I actually remember seeing this when it came out at the cinema, and I've never seen so many walkouts during a film. Like, it was ridiculous. I'm sure half the theatre just got up and left. It sounds a bit trite, but this film is very much about the journey and not the destination. It kind of follows that blueprint that The Big Lebowski has. But again, if you like The Big Lebowski, I'm not saying this film is that, but it has that thing where the central plot device is very contrived, and in the end it doesn't really matter. It's a beautifully shot film. It has such a sense of place in 1970s California. The music is incredible. I love all of the performances. Some of them are so absolutely wacky, particularly Josh Brolin in this film. So yeah, I think this is such an underrated film, and I think many people should give it another chance. So there you have it. Those are 10 underrated films from my film collection. Please do let me know if you disagree or agree with any of these. I would love to hear your thoughts, because I'm sure there's a lot to discuss about those films that I just mentioned. If you want me to do more videos like this, please do let me know in the comments, because I have so many films in my collection that I personally think are underrated, and I would love to share them with you. So I will leave you there. Thanks very much for watching this video. Please do stick around on the channel if you want to watch more videos, and until next time, stay well and keep watching great films.